Welcome to Real Flix Reviews, like a book club for people who hate reading. This week's our theater picks. We picked the remake of The Magnificent Seven. We're doing American Horror Story, Season 1, Episode 6, and we bring you movie news. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, and Ryan Preston. So here's the description, I bit a little short. 7 gunmen in the Old West gradually come together to help a poor village against savage thieves. It's not completely wrong.
Well, it's exactly right. It's a pretty classic story, pretty simple. You kind of get where it's going sort of right off the bat, and then the rest of it's just the journey.
And I do want to say off the bat is I was very hesitant about this movie because I love the original. I'm a big fan of Yul Brynner. So for me off the bat, I went into this movie thinking, okay, this is going to be a crap movie. And I was surprised. I was really expecting it to be the same story. You know, Americans go down to Mexico, free a little village. Some weird ending happens where it explains some kid who wasn't really part of the main story type of thing. But I liked the change. I was really impressed the fact it wasn't a complete remake.
Well, most folks haven't seen Seven Samurai because it was from the 50s and it's a 3-hour-long movie. But it's essentially what this movie is based off of. So it's one of those things that the place can change, the names can change, the type of characters stay the same, and the overall goal from start to finish is the same.
But you know how Hollywood loves
details are interchangeable.
Yeah, but you know how Hollywood loves to have remakes. I mean, they're the same thing. Look at True Grit. The movie, the two movies are almost identical minus a few minor details.
But both True Grits are really good.
No, yeah. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just thinking.
We did that. If you idiots haven't watched it yet, we did do that.
I'm just surprised. So I was just surprised how there are a lot of things weren't similar. I mean, I was really appreciative. It was similar in a way, but it wasn't in Mexico. It was another small plains, prairie city.
Well, my problem with this film is you have as Ryan brought up, Seven Samurai. It's basically a cookie cutter of that. That was basically what The Magnificent Seven, made in 1968, I believe.
Yeah,
was pretty much a copy of Seven Samurai. Now, the Magnificent Seven in the 1960s was only a 90-minute movie. Mm-hmm. This one has an additional hour to it. Now, my big complaint about this
2 hours and 13 minutes.
It's whatever. Feels like 5. My problem with it is I didn't need all the drama bullshit.
See, I
didn't need it.
I didn't mind some of the drama. I loved the initial drama of the start and some of the drama between the characters, because I think it kind of tried to draw you to loving and hating certain characters. What do you think, Ryan?
Well, I was just going to kind of slightly disagree with James in as much as I thought that they did a good job of sort of picking your couple of main characters, because obviously when you have an ensemble cast like this, you know, it'd be a 4-hour movie if everyone got sort of the equal share of the storyline. So you pick your couple of main characters, and then the rest of it sort of becomes the group dynamic, you know, amongst the rest of the people.
Well, that's what they did with the Indian, the man bear, and the
man bear thing was my favorite part. Yeah, come on,
I liked him too. Don't get me wrong,
dude. I can't believe Vincent D'Onofrio, man. That dude has quickly become one of my favorite character actors of all time.
I do love though how each character had enough of the backstory to get you to know him and care or hate him. I mean, there was the Indian fighter, so he was an old Indian fighter, religious. You had Chris Pratt, who was more of the card player, who was a young kid who was really good, the gambler. I mean, so I love the archetypal characters, how they all had kind of a little bit of info, and they just went forward.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's obligatory in this movie. You have to have sort of the come together, the introduction of each of their skills. Just a little bit of actually kind of endear you.
My issue was the powwows around the fire. They were a little bit more drawn out than they needed to be.
I liked them, actually.
I thought it bogged it down.
Kind of went for an old school pacing on this.
See, to me, that's one of the reasons I liked the movie because they gave you a little bit to know the characters. That was the part where he tried to show that one. Chris Pratt said, "I'm going to show you how to shoot the gun," and he's like, number three, this wasn't about the gun.
Yeah.
I
mean, that
liked
was
the
a
whole
cute
bit.
thing, but I don't know. I just feel like that it was unnecessary to it. I understand you guys were looking for character development,
Not
but
really.
I already
No.
know the character development of all these guys. I've seen it a million times.
Well, no. See, here's the thing: is
I
for
guess I
me.
haven't seen them do it this time.
Yeah, yeah. But besides the fact, I really tried to get into this without remembering pretty much the original.
I went in with a blank slate. Don't get me wrong.
Well, for me, I had to really try because I went into this movie thinking I'm gonna hate this. I'm gonna give this, like a 0 type of thing. So, this had to live up to my standards of it. And the only issue I had was because I think this movie had three main acts. It had the gathering of the heroes. It had kind of the building of the town, and the last 3/4 of the movie was this ridiculously long, drawn out gun battle.
Yeah. Actually, I do gotta
Where
say,
they did reload a few times. Not much, but they did.
I gotta say though, I mean, the standoffs that they had were very Clint Eastwood spaghetti western esque, and I appreciated that.
They were really well executed. I mean, that's funny when spoiler, but when Chris Pratt died, I was expecting him to have that metal thing from the stove, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't. It was really well done, but I could have done without probably the hour of 45 minutes of gun battle and gunplay, and this isn't the Battle of Waterloo.
Well, they definitely really did sort of play that off like it was the finale of a fireworks display.
I mean, Jeremy
But
Renner
there's
called. He said
really
he did
not
it in the
much
last
that I
Bourne
have a
movie.
problem with, because they didn't do a lot of the dumbass tropes that you used to see in the old spaghetti westerns, i.e., sort of like the extreme bullet impacts and dudes flying 9 feet off their horses. The only real problem that I had with it was the endless Gatling gun magazine.
Oh,
Yeah.
And that thing was quite accurate and grouping pretty tight at like 400 yards.
yeah. I mean, it's a modern spin, right?
And so, since I'm probably the only person here who's actually shot a Gatling gun, it goes really quick. I mean, you'd be surprised how fast that really goes, especially when you're doing the sweeping motion and as slow as they're doing it. Oh, they would have been reloading at least four times on one sweep, or 3 or 4. I'm thinking.
Absolutely, yeah. Those
Maybe
things.
you're looking for
go
realism from Hollywood?
No, I mean, come
it's
on.
not Kevin Costner.
They pretty much had everybody reload once, maybe twice, just because what they needed is they needed to slow the pace of that gun battle down enough.
You know what? I can forgive that only because there were so many people that you didn't necessarily have to. You can use it sparingly and use it, like you said, to sort of slow it down and kind of get you to take a breath a little bit.
No, I completely agree. I mean, that was totally forgivable, but I did think it was funny that, slow down, important part coming up. Oh, slow down, they're introducing the guy who ran away. Slow down, this happens. No, I agree, but it still made me laugh. But
You can definitely tell they were using it sort of strategically.
But I did like the fact that they didn't always do it the same way. A lot of movies when they do it, it's the same person huddled in a corner or a different person huddled in another corner. They did it, they were underground, they're in the old church. So I did appreciate they tried to kind of throw it up a little bit.
Mix it up at least.
Yeah. Instead of the same thing. But this cast is actually pretty amazing. You've got Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke, Vincent, whatever his name is.
DiCaprio, come on, man. Vinny D, bro.
And Byung Hung Lee, if I'm saying that, and Manuel Gracia Ruffalo. I actually really like the guy who played Red Harvest, Martin Sensmere.
Native Alaskan Inuit, isn't he?
Sorry, everyone whose name John just butchered.
Yeah, he was the one character that I thought they used perfectly. They didn't abuse the character by too much screen time, but because they did the kind of the old Indian trope, in my opinion. Having like the strong, silent character.
Yeah.
But I thought it was actually really respectful. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, no, definitely, you know, we're obviously respectful. But yeah, just, you know, I think this movie really went for being cool, you know, which is kind of what I would expect from this movie, because that's what the original Magnificent Seven was. It was people just trying to make a cool as fuck movie,
Yeah, and
you know,
I mean,
and
you had Steve
this one for the
McQueen,
most
so
part,
yeah.
yeah, I think this one for the most part succeeded, you know, save a couple of sort of the kind of the 1960s pacing, you know, of the movie,
But it was forgivable. I mean, that was the one thing for me that I was kind of surprised at, that with the pacing, it didn't bother me as much as I thought it would.
well, because it was sandwiched in with so much cool shit, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, anytime you get this movie, like you said, that collection of heroes, you know, that's a really satisfying moment in any movie, and even though it's hard to screw up, they did a great job with it.
So at the end of the movie, were you expecting anybody to say the Magnificent Seven? When you
No,
had
I would have absolutely gone ape shit if that would
when you
have
had
happened.
the end narration, I was totally expecting it, and I was like, kind of at the end of it, I'm like, they didn't say it. I'm proud of you, Hollywood. Thank you.
What? And here lies the
Magnificent
Magnificent
Seven.
Seven.
Well, and see, that's
Or at
the
least three of
thing.
the four, or
Is
whatever.
that this movie, when it first started, there was a couple of moments that made me think like, oh, they better not turn this into a comedy,
Oh, it was
you know.
close.
But although there was great jokes, it only went to sort of serve the individual characters
And-
and keeping sort of the overall tone of the movie. So that was pretty cool.
And I'm glad they had Chris Pratt kind of playing his standard role. I actually think that was really needed in this movie and actually added
Well,
a lot to it.
it's the world, right?
What was that?
It was basically him from Jurassic World with
Yeah.
a gun belt.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But I was really appreciative because I was thinking about it, that I think without him, this movie would have gotten a little stale, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
And
yeah,
so I
definitely. But also, you know, you really colorful characters, just, you know, like Vincent D'Onofrio doing.
Woohoo! Yeah.
what did you might want to repeat yourself there, Ryan.
I said Vincent D'Onofrio doing the man bear pig.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pig bear
Jesus.
man.
And I
Bear
do
man.
have to say, I didn't realize that was Ethan Hawke until the end of the movie.
God, really?
The whole
I
time I'm
started
thinking,
Ethan Hawke because of his voice, but it took me literally 5 minutes to realize that was friggin' Vincent D'Onofrio.
oh, because the whole time I'm like, who is that? Who is that? IMDb. What?
Yeah, I recognized Ethan Hawke.
Um, So, Ryan, what do you give this movie?
Oh man, it's way more than expected. I mean, this movie, I mean, did not have to be good to exceed my expectations. But I mean, all in all, this is one I'm going to come back to. This is a solid 4.
James?
Like I said, for me there was too much drama. I can't go a 4, but it doesn't deserve anything less than a 3.5. 3, but yeah, 3.5.
So I agree with Ryan in some aspects that this is going to movie I could come back with. It actually went beyond my expectations because I thought, to quote Bart Simpson, this movie would suck and blow, and it did neither.
You just had lowered expectations.
Very low, considering I was ready to actually walk out of this movie.
That's why you guys liked it so much, is because you guys had such
Well,
low
here's-
expectations
well-
for it. Me, I was thinking
Well,
with
part
this
of
cast and
part of the
everything, come on.
litmus test for me on this movie was if my wife was going to like it, because she loves the original, and she liked this movie, which to me was proof that this wasn't a crappy movie. So I'll give it a 4.5.
I don't think it's a completely crappy movie, but I just think that there was
Well,
You
to
heard
me,
me.
it wasn't so much as the sort of the lowered expectations scenario, as
Thank you, Ryan.
just like there's certain things that I expect from this type of movie, you know. And if I can check these certain boxes, you know, then theoretically it's a good movie. And then it just comes down to how much did I sort of enjoy watching it, and I had a good time. So
Yeah, and then I'd also add to that how well they respected the source material, not only being the Seven Samurai, but the Magnificent Seven, which they honestly could have crapped on both, and I thought they were very respectful of both of them, which I think in a
Yeah.
remake these days is
Yeah.
not. They don't really do it a lot.
Ghostbusters.
Bingo. So we're gonna.
Oh,
Sorry,
man,
it was a
yeah.
spasm.
So, so Ghost in here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna switch
Slimer.
over to James.
So, I'm actually kind of disappointed Ryan did not do his homework on this one. Now, American Horror Story, they change the each season is a different telling of a different horror story. This one was referred to as Hell House, and
Each season?
yeah, each season is different with the
Interesting.
same actors.
Huh.
So they just switched their roles up, and this is one where I became a big fan of Evan Peters. Is the show Quicksilver and X-Men? For those of you who don't know, I picked this one because this one gives you a pretty round introduction into what's going on in the season. And I want to throw it out to John, since John actually watched the episode, because I love this
Good
episode.
idea.
What'd you think, John? I know you don't like horror stories at all, but
It actually
Well, what
wasn't bad.
American Horror Stories.
Well, the story was actually a lot better than I thought it was, considering most horror movies are just kind of like, a little bit of story, This was actually pretty well thought out. I mean,
it's a very slow burn.
and you have multiple stories within this episode, which is another thing most horror movies and / horror shows don't do, is have a lot of substance and a lot of story. I was impressed when I watched the series. I
can't see you watching it.
I don't really know. The ghost thing was trippy.
How did you like how the fat guy died?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. He was in there going whatever the piggy thing was,
Pig.
and wasn't expecting how he died. That definitely kind
I
of
wasn't either. The first time it happened, I'm like, oh, dude, I love this show.
I was expecting him to get with the hook through the mirror type of thing.
Anyways, but I don't want to root it for Ryan, because I do think Ryan might.
Well, now I know the fat guy died. Jesus.
No, you still don't.
Well,
But you'll know what's going on in the episode.
You got to see. But no, I respected it. It was not something that I expected to at least like it all. I
Yeah.
mean, it's rather slow. I mean, at this point in time,
Well, the thing I gotta say about why I like the show so much is they can do some of the slow stuff and build up character development over the season. So
Yeah.
and they do take a lot of different. Each episode, there's a lot of stuff going on. So, and I think they are able to do that because it's a series show.
and it seems to, at least from this episode, able to.
It's an anthology. That's the word you're looking for.
Thank you.
It seems to be able to toe the balance between overarching story and episodic, which generally I think most shows that are like overarching story have a really hard time balancing the episodic nature of television.
Yeah.
This seemed to, in my opinion, tell a story and you're able to move on from it, but give you hints about the next story and what's at the end of it. So I was impressed. Not something that would easily impress me as horror movies.
Well, it's actually, to me, the idea of the anthology. I want to chime in here, even though I didn't watch it. The idea of the anthology, the way.
You're gonna have to repeat yourself.
Ryan, you're gonna want to
Huh?
repeat yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I said I was going to chime in here, even though I didn't watch it. How many seasons was it, James? Have
They're
they done
up
so
to
far?
season 6, I believe.
Season 6. So yeah, it's really brilliant what they're doing. James and I have talked about this before, how we sort of like the way British TV does things certain times, where they just have this one season thing, or it's like 9 episodes of this show and then that's it. They're not trying to milk 50 seasons out of it if they can.
Yeah.
But this, you can actually tell a different story. You can end a story where it needs to end and go on to something else, a different setting, a different thing. Keep the same cast and keep everybody in a job at the same time, not draw the story out,
Yeah.
to where it gets stale or dumb or far-fetched or, whatever.
I would say BBC has an amazing ability to do 4 or 5 episode season, release another one another year, and it's still you're fulfilled by that small amount, which I don't think is another thing that's really hard to do in today's market.
I agree.
Because Netflix does the same thing, but on the other hand, they release the entire season.
Yeah, so you can just burn through them. All right,
So,
Johnny.
ladies and gentlemen, we do have a Facebook page. You love us, hate us. How about you give us a movie that you want us to review? The other thing is we do
laugh.
have a podcast, audio podcast. It is at Podbean, Stitcher, iTunes, and more. And the first story I have for you, ladies and gentlemen, is Turner makes major Star Wars movie rights deal. Turner Networks, TNT, and TBS will be exclusive basic cable home for all Star Wars feature films, thanks to a multi-year deal filmed with the studios.
Wait.
Studios.
Are they threatening another Star Wars Christmas special?
Yes. Matter of fact, let's just re-release. Let's just replay the other one.
Don't.
Oh, come on. We all want to see the Star Wars Christmas.
I have it if you would like to watch it.
I would.
I will send it to you.
How about I bet Ryan watches it and next week give us a report.
Jefferson Starship is on it.
I might be too stoned to give a report after watching it.
Wait, Jefferson Starship is really on it? Oh, wow.
Yes.
So it's not even Jefferson Airplane. They went straight to...
Yeah, they went out there. I got a bit. So, are you... I know Ryan is a bit of a James Garner fan. John?
A bit.
So,
Yeah, I like James Garner.
yeah, I like them.
Do you guys watch Rockford Files at all?
I never really was able to get into Rockford Files.
Ryan?
No, never seen an episode of Rockford Files.
You know, I actually enjoyed Rockford Files when I was a kid, and
I liked him better as the Lazy Ace.
I've pretty much seen every episode of it. It was on for 6 years, for those people who don't know about it. They're rebooting the Rockford Files. I want to know who out there wants to try to fill James Garner's shoes.
I actually don't think you can because he had his delivery of lines and the way he did things was so unique to him. You could say the same thing, see in the TV show Maverick he did, or even the movie remake. I don't think anybody would be able to fill his shoes.
Yeah. They're just in the talks of it. I haven't seen anything as to releasing who would be taking over Rockford in the series, but I'm wondering why we're rebooting new TV shows. Don't we have Hawaii Five-0 or Miami Vice and crap like that going on right now?
I'm waiting for them to reboot MASH.
Who's gonna wear the dress? Willem Dafoe?
Well, not unusual for him. So, in America's Sweetheart, Kathy Bates is set for her Hollywood Walk of Fame. I think that's badass.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of her, and she's done an amazing wide variety of comedy, drama, horror. I saw that and I'm like, cool. I mean, it's nothing impressive to me, but I think it's really cool. Besides the fact they actually have to pay for it themselves.
Yeah, and you know that she's in American Horror Story too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just putting that out there because she does a fantastic job in that show.
Really?
Yeah. Oh man, she is one hell of an actress.
And
Misery.
in the oh dear God, please not another one pile. Shrek 5 could hit theaters according to Eddie Murphy.
5?
Along
I mean, at this point, I'm sure Murphy's producing, and it's just printing money.
And the other one was there might be another Austin Powers movie because Mike Myers doesn't want to kill his career even faster than it already did.
I was wondering, is he still alive?
He's alive, but I think the Love Guru kind of sunk what was left of his career since they stopped
we lose Gene Wilder, but we still have Mike Myers?
I know.
Dude.
It's like that Bob Saget roast. Pryor's dead, Carlin's dead, Bob Saget's alive.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. I'm not quite sure about it.
Anything else you want to throw on the pile of crap?
There's an interesting one is
So.
they were thinking about switching up the Robin character. You know, because usually
Batman
and Robin, because usually Robin is the stereotypical white preppy kid. Well,
yeah.
You know, they do have different backstories. But what do you think if they made him Asian, black, a woman? I mean, what do you think? Do you think it would?
Well, there is a woman that was a Robin character.
Well, I know, but I mean, to actually make it, you know, like Dick Grayson or, you know, something like that.
Like actually take the name and put it on a...
Yeah. I mean, what do you think? I mean, I actually don't care.
I'm not adverse to it, but I think it's a bit unnecessary.
You know, I actually don't care. I mean, that's actually something that for me doesn't bother me enough.
It doesn't really bother me either, but I just think is there really some type of agenda behind it?
No. There was a.
That's what I'm more concerned about. I don't give a crap if he's black, white, orange,
No,
yellow,
what it is the
green,
Big
black.
Hero 6 star Ryan Potter voice video has struck a chord, and pretty much it's him wanting to be Robin, and I'm
Oh,
totally
cool.
cool with that. I mean, usually I'm very stickler to staying close to the source
Is he
material.
gonna? Do they say which Robin he's gonna be? Dick Grayson, Tim
That I don't
Drake.
remember honestly,
Okay.
but
All right.
because usually I'm a very
I mean,
stickler.
I might have a little bit of an issue if he's Dick Grayson. But I mean, if they use one of the other ones that isn't such an
Jason
icon,
Todd.
you know what?
Jason Todd.
Yeah. I mean, better than nipples on a bat suit.
Right? See, I'm usually a very stickler to staying close to the source material unless you don't have a choice. Like if you watch Lord of the Rings, they did certain things for expedient of the movie, even though it was already a 3-hour movie.
Well,
So that doesn't really bother me for as much.
well, I mean, if they don't change his backstory and his origin and all that stuff, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they were thinking of making James Bond African American. That bugged me because that didn't stay close to the original source material.
Well, Bond 007 is more of like a name.
See, that's what they were saying. They said James Bond was, excuse me, instead of being a particular person, it's a code name for somebody. Which, under that disguise, made sense to me. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's so many weird little theories about James Bond and all that. Yeah, I'm good with it. I've always wanted to see, well, ever since they kind of thought about it, Idris Elba. I'd like to see that version for sure.
I have to admit that would be curious on that one too.
Yeah.
Because I like Idris Elba so damn much. Damn, he is a heavy actor.
So, in a kind of excited news on Wolverine 3, Bryan Singer has confirmed that Mr. Sinister will appear, which would be the first time he would be in a live-action movie. Is one of my more favorite bad guys in the X-Men series.
I'd be okay with that one.
Let's see.
But I mean, is this going to be a Wolverine exclusive? Or X-Men?
My assumption, because assumption would be this is just
Wolverine can't do much against Sinister.
No, my assumption would be if it's a cameo, it'll be an introduction to the character. If he's a main bad guy, it may just start off, kind of really introducing the character for something. It doesn't really tell you much. It's one of those things that he's going to be in it. Look for him, which means he could be Jubilee in a classroom.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious in how they're going to play it off because he's one of the major villains.
Yeah, he's always been one of the major villains. Yeah.
So I'm really interested in another one I thought was interesting. Natalie Portman's going to be in a movie about John F. Kennedy's assassination. I'm assuming she's playing Jackie Kennedy.
Why can't she be Madeline and taking him out?
Ryan?
Wait.
I made a professional reference. The professional. She should be the Madeline and take him out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, got it.
Awesome.
Wow, way to
Look,
kill.
It's difficult when I miss the context,
Touche.
Way to ruin a joke. Jackass.
Internet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's what you're blaming everything on.
Yeah, you're saying my amazing internet that never seems to work, but it's an amazing nonetheless.
It's all that midget clown porn, I
So,
swear.
ladies and gentlemen, next week is my pick. And so I think I'm going to do one of my favorite movies of all time.
Didn't we already do those?
No, I have a lot of
Young
movies.
Mr. Lincoln.
Oh, no, this is another one.
Bandwagon?
Pale Rider.
Ooh. All right.
And for the TV, we're going to do the new MacGyver.
Okay. He did that just to get that reaction, people.
Yes. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I gave The Seven Samurai 2016 a 4.5 out of 5. James gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Ryan gave it a 4 out of 5. We're watching Pale Rider and The New MacGyver. And as always, thank you for watching.